What's happening, good fighters? It's Dr. Nash Dr. Yates here, coming to you live with a whole lot of connection, intention, and purpose. You know what it is.
Let's go.
We're coming to you live, man, as always, but with something really cool that Dr. Gates shared with me today. So within Palmer, they have like these archives of old, the chiropractor. Are they like mail-outs? Are they journals?
I think it's like I think they're called journals, but I think it's technically like a magazine publication. Yeah, they're in the Palmer archives. I'll put the link in the show notes for sure.
Dope.
But they're not just the one we're going to talk about. I mean, they have like, I don't know how many they have in here, but they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Always cool to take a look at a snapshot of a place and time, especially when it comes to chiropractic, like the 40s. I could dive into that all day long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. And what's cool is for you listeners, you can flip through this magazine like it's a magazine online, but it's sweet. So I just was scrolling through, checking some stuff out today, right? For some reason, and I don't know if you guys follow Palmer Archives on Instagram, but I was like, hey, let's maybe talk about some chiropractic history. Maybe we can find something cool. Notice this portion of one of their posts that talks about these sections in 1942 that are scanned into their electronic database, right? And the one obviously with like the flag, there's a battleship, 1942, like it caught my eye, right? I didn't know what I was going to find, but I was like, you know what, it'd be kind of cool just to check out, see what's in there. So guys, look at this. If you scroll through and go to the table of contents, and again, I'll put the link for where to find this into the show notes. So look at the bottom of your podcast provider. If you go to table of contents, it talks about on page 4, it talks about 3 important freedoms written by William Ivins, MA, BD, DC. I don't know what the rest of those ones stand for, but the only one that matters is DC. If you go into this thing, guys, it says 3 important freedoms: medical freedom, political freedom, and religious freedom. Guys, what is happening right now, what we are going through in this country and across the world was written about in 1942. What they were dealing with was compulsory inoculations, particularly against diphtheria and some other ones. But in this subsect article, it discusses not only within the United States, but also Canada as well. And I was like, dude, what? Like, this is crazy. Just compulsory inoculations from 1942. The medical establishment has been trying to do this over and over and over again. But written here in the Chiropractor in 1942. And I thought this was awesome. A nice little thing that we could talk about, not only stuff that we've already talked about a little bit of, but even more specifically, the convoy that's going on right now within Canada. And the moves that are being made there. So, guys, check this thing out. It's really cool. And for those of you that don't know or have been paying attention during COVID, there's a specific quotation at the very top of the page here that Dr. Ben Tapper has discussed a lot about. It says, the Constitution of this republic should make special provision for medical freedom. To restrict the art of healing to one class will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws are un-American and despotic. That's by Benjamin Rush, MD. And as you know, Dr. Benjamin Tapper has quoted that a lot. And just the crazy portion of this, it talks about some of the persecution and prosecution that was running rampant at the time against chiropractors, and going into not only how chiropractors can stand up, but also to let us know, hey, these medical men and this medical-minded community is going to try to push us around because they think they have the patent or whatever you want to call it, the only thing when it comes to examining basic science. And when you guys talk about, it talks about how, few representatives of the various drugless branches of the healing are allowed to pass. They were actually keeping like the amount of chiropractors that could come into certain states because there was just too many coming in. So, Dr. Nash, I don't know if you have anything right out the gate, but I just want to, I don't know, maybe I'm dorking out a little bit over too much of this, but I think it's freaking wild. And I think our listeners are going to love it. So
What it made me think of, I mean, we hear it time and time again that history repeats itself, and here's just another very fine example of that law just manifesting itself once again. And also in this, it's talking about Toronto having a lot of these issues with diphtheria, and that's their entire drive to eliminate diphtheria through vaccination, right? And one thing that I've been going through conflicts clarify, and one thing that conflicts clarify are intentions, right? When you have conflicts, you're really going to see somebody's true colors going on. And lots of times that's what we're really seeing in these large scale events that are being orchestrated, not just in certain areas, but on a global scale. And when it's attack on something as important as medical, political, religious freedoms, better believe those conflicts are going to clarify what their true agenda is. And it's not new. It's history repeating itself.
Yep.
So this is
it literally is. I mean, if I were to replace the date of this thing, you would not know the difference.
Yeah.
It literally talks about, so it says drive against diphtheria. The drive against diphtheria. So literally convoy, okay? And this is special to the Winnipeg Tribune. First of all, shout out to all of our Canadian good fighters out there.
Yeah, for sure.
It says Toronto, April 13th, 1942. During the week of April 19th through the 25th, health authorities throughout Canada will cooperate with the Health League of Canada in a nationwide effort to attract attention to the importance of immunizing children against diphtheria. And then later on, it talks about how newspapers, radios, churches, and schools will cooperate with health authorities to end that no Canadian parent shall remain uninformed of the fact that he may play his part in the campaign. What the frig does that sound like? I swear to God, they pulled this like straight out of freaking 1942 and started utilizing the same exact tactics that they were back then.
They do, man. This is the MO, man. And it's not just, I mean, it's a lot of the, I don't know. I mean, hey, man, I'll put my tinfoil hat on, man. I mean, a lot of the people that
put it on, baby. Let's go.
Well, when it comes to media sources, right? Like TV, movies. How many times they recycling old shows, old movies, and just rehashing?
There's no originality.
Yep. And it's no different when it comes to their political narratives and their agendas. To just the big important factor is they couldn't get it done back then, so they had to wait, and it's a waiting game that they're just going to bring it back up again. And we're at the pivotal moment where they're going to really try and push through to really get over the hump this time. But at the same time, we need to really equally shoot this shit down. But that's the whole thing, man. Like it's just a cycle that they just kind of keep repeating, and it's kind of like a consistency or a persistency to get people in the mindset that they need the government to keep them alive and to keep them to live this secure lifestyle. And it's better than your freedoms and the ability to make your own decisions because they know better. And that's everything that they have going on. I mean, when it comes to the ultimate goal of controlling people as much as they can.
They have the ultimate goal, and they will continue to try to push this ultimate goal until we stand up, right? And that's why it's happening all over again, because we kind of lost our way along the line. What I find funny here is just, guys, the correlation is just astounding, and not only in like their verbiage, but in this section. Gosh dang it, I'm sorry, guys. Let me unplug this phone. Talk genius to him, Dr. Nash.
Okay, cool. So one thing there's this little section up here that we thought was pretty damn good. So when it comes to immunization against diphtheria, there's really 3 necessary factors I would even advocate you have to prove these things to even make it somewhat realistic to require this. So number 1 would be urgent necessity. Number 2, it provides effective protection. Number 3, harmlessness of the procedure. And in this article, we maintain they have signally failed in all respects to do these things. And again, this isn't something new. This is, again, a rehashing. And they never, if they can muddy the waters enough there's so much conflicting information, there's so much confusion around these three things. That's how they just can keep pushing forward with the current model that we're in right now. I thought Dr. Jordan Burns had a beautiful analogy yesterday. I don't know if you saw it on his story, but this being the center, this being homeostasis of like neutral when it comes to health. You're not healthy and you're not in poor health, right? And the current medical healthcare system is designed to, well, if you're not having symptoms, you're healthy. And if you're in this negative space, we're going to get you back up to here until you come back around. Mm-hmm. And then in their mind, just literally the mindset is, if they can keep you in this realm where you're getting close and then you're right back to where you need them again, you'll be a customer for life. Right. But there's this whole other side where we can be experiencing health, wellness, and growth. And that's really ultimately where healthcare, and not even just healthcare, but the global shift of what we prioritize for people and in the future, where it needs to be to really bring the most out of humanity. And like we said before, that's what chiropractic is all about, baby. 1895.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. D4. Don't forget it.
Yes, sir.
Death for 10 years. One adjustment. Nervous system. God-given. Innate intelligence. Dropping it all.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Real quick, I want to backtrack.
Go ahead.
Because after them talking about how they're going to make sure that they do their part, right? Do your part, get the jab. It says there's been developed a preventative in the form of a toxoid, aka vaccine. The process of preventing diphtheria is a simple one. Notice this. It's simple because they just think it's just a shot and it's done, right?
Yeah.
The process of preventing diphtheria is a simple one, not attended by any danger. They have to put that in, safe and effective, right? In quotes. Nor any great inconvenience. It's easy to get the shot. It's free. Go get it. Do your part.
Yeah.
Only three
Get paid in gift cards.
You get paid in gift cards, Krispy Kremes. Yep. The process of preventing diphtheria is a simple one, not attended by any danger, nor any great inconvenience. Only 3 inoculations of diphtheria toxoid are necessary. Hey, 2 shots and a booster, baby.
Yeah.
2 shots and a booster. These inoculations are given at 3-week intervals, reinforcing dose after an interval of 4 or 5 years. Freaking nuts, dude. Yeah. I just can't even believe. It just blows my mind. I'm guys, if your mind isn't blown, you are under a rock, man.
For real. And maybe your mind's not blown, but if you're not able to kind of see the writing on the wall here.
Oh, yeah. We should have told them to pause and go look at it while we talk about this.
True. You can pause right now and go look at it, right?
Pause right now, pull it up, and go through what we're looking at.
This is like that interactive video you went through in school where they pause now.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Do it.
Maybe we'll have to do an IG live version of that, man.
Yeah, maybe.
So it talks about chiropractic's role, and especially when it comes to how medical theories dominate the government and mentality within the USA and America.
Yep.
And the need for chiropractors to stand up, guys, because they talk. I mean, not just now, but back then, there is a huge political gain and you guys have probably listened. If you haven't listened to the conversation we had with Dr. Brant Hustlebus, go listen to it too. There's a huge political gain in this game of politics, where instead of having medical freedom, political freedom, religious freedom, it's, hey, how much can you buy out? Are you for or against health choice freedom? So, Dr. Hustlebus and his family's legacy were shout out to him. They were putting work back in the day to make sure we were able to get political, religious, and medical freedom. And nowadays, even more people are still trying to undercut that.
Yep. One cool part that I liked in this, the time for constructive political program to be evolved, right? So it makes it. Article states that there is a need for 2 definite things: a national policy should be evolved to effectively deal with basic science and other legislative issues. Number two, some policy should be evolved to compel governments to give recognition to chiropractic in state and national health setups. Now, I think we have accomplished some of that, but that does not
Right.
mean that there's not more advancement to be made on these, or even more depth to be dug out. So,
Right.
while fighting for political freedom, let us not forget that there can be no political freedom apart from medical health freedom or religious freedoms. No nation can
Yep.
exist part slave, part free. We're all one nation. So if California is doing this shit where they're requiring they're neglecting not just political and religious freedoms, but all these three freedoms, then yeah, it's just incongruent, and we can't stand for it.
Yeah. And that part is probably it's hard, man, because there's part of me was like, you know what, screw it. Cali can just become their own place because they seem to want to go against a lot of the grain for what we're trying to stand for. But we can't
tolerate it, right?
We can't have that type of stuff rolling around. We have to come at it in terms of we have a goal and a mindset, not just to be in a bubble for the entire
fought wars
time.
for so much less, man, and it was across like foreign waters, and this is literally happening a drive away from a lot of people. What's happening in Illinois? It's happening in so many places right now. New York City. I don't know if you've got any listeners around New York, anybody from California, man, but it's disgusting. We just watched the Super Bowl with 70,000 people there.
Not a single mask. I didn't see one.
I mean, if you want to wear one, great. But if you are, don't expect everybody else to wear them.
Yep.
Nobody was wearing them. You know why? Because, dude, who believes that shit anymore? Unless you're truly are that tied into like thinking that, holy cow, I'm gonna get really, really sick from this person standing right next to me. Maybe you shouldn't go outside. But the sick part is the next day they turn around and have their kids go to school with masks on.
That's what blew my mind. And some of them probably didn't even think or seem to question it. But there's got to be something in the back of your mind that makes you think, man.
Yeah.
All this shady stuff going on. And I mean, I know I sent this to you too. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it, but if you really want to know the shadiness of the drug companies, man, go listen to the Model Health Show. I forget what episode it is, but it's with John Abramson. He has direct access to all these drug companies, these pharmaceutical companies, their actual studies that they perform, and knowingly put some of this crap on the market for profit.
Yep.
And he even goes into what was crazy, because I got his book. He was talking about how the World Health Organization, this is more in regards to the COVID vaccine, the World Health Organization put something together to basically get vaccines to these less wealthy countries that needed it for the global pandemic, right? And Pfizer and Moderna both basically pledged allegiance to hey, we'll provide access to these countries, patents, whatever they need to get these, this stuff to build their vaccine, to build a proper vaccine. They never did it. You know why? Because they never freaking cared. They did not care about the public health, the global health pandemic. All they cared about their profit line, and they weren't going to make any money off of it. So what did they do? They never did it. The part I love about this article, though, is that medical freedom cannot be separated from political and religious freedom, principles for which we are fighting for in the present war. Just under that, it says every person has an inalienable right to decide for himself whether or not he desires to be vaccinated, inoculated against typhoid, or given an injection of anti-tetanic serum. And just, dude, everybody deserves that inalienable right. You are a human being. You're not a human being you're not a human being. Does that make sense? People out there don't believe that you deserve to be in society without a vaccine, which just blows my mind. You do not need a pharmaceutical, a medication, anything external to be the person and the beautiful human soul that you deserve to be.
And we live
inalienable right.
You shouldn't even need to defend that.
You shouldn't, which is it's crazy. Blows my mind. So, and I just want to go back real quick to that part that you were talking about, because let us not forget that there can be no political freedom apart from these other freedoms. No nation can exist part slave and part free. It must be slavery all the way or freedom all the way. So you choose, and you determine right now, as a good fighter, You can't be half in, half out. You know, this is a fundamental fact. Challenges hard thinking on the part of the chiropractors capable of thinking and acting. I know you just read that, Dr. Nash, but I really wanted to reiterate that point because people need to know. They need to get this part of their thinking down if they haven't already,
Yep.
and determine which side of the fence are you going to be on. Which side of that history are you going to be on? I'm not trying to be on the one that forces a vaccine, a mask, on an 8-year-old kid while grown ass adults are out there watching a football game, having the time of their life in a stadium filled with however many thousands of people.
You know what the sick part is, man, is a lot of those people won't even live to see the repercussions of that.
That's a fact, bro.
You know, because
probably many of them,
dude,
by today's health standards.
Well, especially by the time they're adults. Like, think about it, man.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, how influenceable were you? Very, right? Not even just by but like other kids around you. Like, oh man, like I want people to like me. I want to be friends with these kids, right? And
right.
I can't even imagine what it's like in school right now. Like some kids feeling, I don't even know what type of feelings they're gonna be feeling when they're the first kid class not wearing a mask, or all the other things that we can't even think about right now. The social, mental implications of having these kids wear these in school and being afraid of something that, dude, when I was growing up, I loved getting sick. I wanted to be home at school. You know, like, let me get
right.
My mom's a nurse. I wish I was sick. And I tell you what, man, I'd get sick. She'd toss me ibuprofen, send me back to school every single time. Unless I vomited, which was almost never. So, you know,
right.
It's just such a different mindset for these future adults that it's gonna be quite scary. Some of them, some of the ways that their lines of thinking and the way that they're gonna be brought up with certain mentalities, man. And people that should be held accountable won't be unless we make them held accountable.
Right.
And it's not too late, but
you know, I love what you said there. I love what you said there, though, too. I don't know if you saw the video of the children that were like, I think it was in Vegas or in Nevada, and they were like, "Oh, we don't have to wear a mask tomorrow." All the kids cheered.
Oh wow!
Like every single one of the teachers like, "We don't have to wear a mask tomorrow," and all the kids are just cheering. There is an innate desire for the freedom at will, and when you know, it doesn't even really matter if it's a mask or not, but as a whole, a freedom in your body, a freedom in the ability to move, a freedom to live without sickness, a freedom to live without a pharmaceutical. We love that. We love that. And, you know, in today's measure, the chiropractors, we've been told we are the quacks, you know, even during this time period, not to be listened to, but, you know, we gotta, you know, kind of throw it back to having a chip on your shoulder. You know, because in this article it says, "United we stand, divided we fall," is a truism. How great is the need for chiropractors to take this to heart? Our ranks are today almost helplessly divided. We are the easy prey of the medical hierarchy. I don't know about you. I'm tired of being a easy prey of the medical hierarchy. Sure. Have a chip on your shoulder, guys. There's more at stake than just what did Mo say? Making bone music.
yeah. Hope dealer slinging bone music, man.
Hope stealer. Oh my gosh! But you know, it's just wild. It's just wild. We got the convoys. I think people really are starting to wake up. But add this to fuel to your fire, guys. It's not the first time this has happened. It certainly won't be the last. You know, even if we come out of the other side victorious, as stuff is kind of projecting now in the way, they will try it again. They will continue to try it again until we put into place certain abilities, inalienable rights within not only on a paper for which our country is guided by, but also our own internal capacity and being. You have to have that first, in my opinion. Having that freedom within your heart, having that freedom within your mind, and letting it go from above down, inside out is going to be the biggest thing that we need to start to take hold of.
Yep.
To make true, lasting, fulfilling movement.
And our greatest strength is not just. I mean, it's everything about chiropractic, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have what they want in the long run. You already see that shift happening in different fields, but truly, our philosophy, our approach to health is exactly our greatest strength.
Yeah,
100%. It's not a matter of if that works; it's a matter of when. Having that time to see the results, to see the fruit from the tree. But it's a law of life, baby. And if you haven't read it, read it, because it's right up there with the law of attraction. It's right there with the law of reflection, and it's right up there with the law of gravity, man. Because it's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. So,
oh my gosh,
I love talking about that, talking about healing with people, because it's all about getting in the mindset that it's a God-given ability that we all have to heal and adapt.
Yeah, dude, that's wild.
But I do want to touch on one more thing with the convoy, right?
For sure.
And I'm sure we're preaching the choir with most people listening to this, but when you think about it, man, like, what is there to gain for the Canadian Parliament, the government, for them to, stop not even just like the physical support from these people, but they're literally freezing bank accounts, and they're pressuring other software and companies from having any sort of support for people who are literally peaceful protesting in a way that, like, they are not violent. Like, it just doesn't, like, what other time in history has this happened? It's happened before, but you just got to put your thinking cap on, like, okay, so who are the right people? Who's on the right side of those protests? When people are protesting, there's usually some truth or something behind that, right? So, like,
right.
It just, I don't know, man. It's just pretty amazing how much that is how much that's getting swept under the rug. That
absolutely, man.
Millions of
Where's
people.
your congruency lie?
Yeah.
Where does your congruency lie? Yeah, that's so true, man. That is just.
Well,
you got to take Canada, a step back.
Like,
yeah.
Have you talked to her parents at all? Like, what's that sound like?
Sadly, her parents are more on the side of, like, especially at the beginning, like, hey, I'm just going to do what I'm told.
Well, I'm just saying with the convoy.
Oh, honestly, don't even think they know about it.
Really?
Because it's such a politicized movement and censored movement that you can't even hear a lot of it. And they're all shut in. There's lockdowns. So, and if you're not aware from, a news, a multi-news standpoint, because if you're just listening to the basic news, they're a terrorist, racist, bigoted movement, which holds no truth at all based on the actual people on the ground. If you talk to people that have actually been to these movements, it's nothing of the sort.
Well, dude, they literally got exposed for paying, like, basically racist people, or like, racist actors to go out there and try to muddy the water even more.
Yeah, and so and if you think that this won't happen in America, don't be a fool,
bro.
It might not be now.
Sense? How does it make somebody make it make sense? Why the fuck would it be racist, man? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Dude,
we're gonna go to Ottawa and we're just gonna protest because why? Like, how does the race come into that at all, man? It's seriously insane. And oh man, sorry.
And the crazy thing is the amount of for the hate speech warriors out there and discrimination warriors out there, take a step back and listen to the rhetoric of the people that they're purely fighting for freaking freedom to not have to mandate something put into their bodies. And if you listen to the rhetoric of the opposition to them, it is very divisive. It is very hateful. And you got to take a step back and be like, is this really the place that I want to be?
It's gaslighting, man.
Massively.
Like,
so with Chantel, she gets furious. She's furious. I mean, she's even partially, a little upset at her parents for not knowing.
Yeah.
But that comes down to the part too is like, hey, many people in America, many people all around the world, we've taken a back seat, and that's how this kind of happens. So,
what kind of reminds me of? Tiananmen Square.
What is it?
It reminds me of Tiananmen Square.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, dude. Is like you said, history is going to repeat. When are we going to be awake? When are we going to be awake? What type of obligations are we trying to build for our children after us? Is it that?
History repeats, right? So when is 1776 coming in? When's our repeat of that? Because I'm ready for all that, because this is my tolerance, my palate has been pushed to about all I can stomach. It's a matter of making sure that we're considering ourselves still one nation.
Right. And I think if you look back too, even like with Lincoln, he wanted to keep us one nation.
Yeah.
And we have to have those conversations. Don't let it be censored. Don't let them lock you out.
Yep.
Have those conversations. And remember, go back to our discussion about unlabeled conversations. Because you have to have those conversations from a place of your heart and not just a place of spite.
Yeah.
You know? I know, and we obviously we get heated with it as well. It's hard not to. I mean, I'm guilty of it, you know, but guys, you got to step up. We got to step up. And as chiropractors, there's nobody better for the job, in my opinion.
Yeah, man,
we are at the epicenter,
and we've got a lot of responsibility on our shoulders for what we know and what we're able to provide, and not just ourselves or other people in our practice, but like you're literally giving somebody the capacity to step into being the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
To manifesting true self-expression. And somebody's true self-expression is never out of fear. It's never that.
Yep.
It never is. So when you can help somebody do that and they can pass along to somebody else, dude, that's really the tools that we have to unshackle some people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was reading a book recently, and it rung true with me because it was a very simple analogy. Like in the circus, when they would get elephants, they always want them young. Because when you get them young and you tie them to a stake, they're not strong enough to pull it out. And they just learn, they're conditioned to think that they're never strong enough, even when they become adults, that they have this mental barrier. I can't move that.
Right.
And it can be the smallest little stake in the world, but it's this mental shackle they put themselves in, mental enslavement, right? Got you scared you might miss your next payment, you know? And sorry, that's something for my friend. But they that's like an analogy that is being put in place right now again. Like these kids, they're tying these kids up to these proverbial stakes,
mm-hmm.
getting them afraid to really go out and explore, to step into getting in and going out in nature, going around and being social, you know, focusing on things that are fun as a kid, man. Like, I don't know. So, that was just I read.
Yeah, and real quick too, on that kind of same note, I know you sent a voice message to me a couple weeks back about really desiring personal freedom in all capacities, and building essentially your own life for self-sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to be at the forefront in our goal. You know, I know we want entertainment, guys, and I know we want a lot of these things that are more luxurious, but if we don't have self-sustainability, those things mean nothing.
Totally.
You know, so
sedation,
you know, give the people entertainment and bread and they'll be loyal and blind. We don't want to be like that. We want to be freedom fighters and stick to the 3 important freedoms, you know, and more than that, just medical freedom, political freedom, religious freedom. Keep that on the forefront of your mind this week if you're listening to this episode. Those are my closing thoughts, Dr. Nash. You got any?
Nope. I'm tapped out. Go out and get it.
Go out and get it, guys.
Speak and be true.
Put this in the show notes. Show notes once again. Do not miss. It's not that long. Go read the entire thing, guys. You will not, it will not disappoint. I promise. So good fighters. Don't forget to share this episode. Please go leave us a review. Hit us up with any topics, questions, comments, concerns that you might have. Don't forget to follow us at _good_fight_ers. Don't forget to follow Dr. Nash at DC Nash _ T. Get it right?
Almost. DC _ Nash _ T.
I knew I was missing one. And then Gatesmare _ DC. Guys, this is the Good Fighters podcast coming at you with connection, intention, and purpose. Yeah.